Okay, hello and welcome to lesson 7 of topic 24, sine and cosine rule. So if you worked through last lesson, which was to use the area of a triangle formula to find missing sides and angles, and you got all those questions right, then you can tick this one off. Now today's lesson is about combining these first 4 bullet points here. And the reason for that is because in your GCSE, they're not going to tell you which formula to use. Okay, they are going to expect you to look at a question and understand which formula to use and when. The second thing is obviously you need to memorise those formulae, so they're not going to give you the formulae either. Okay, so the title of today's lesson is choosing the correct formula. Okay, now I'm going to leave the area rule out of this little kind of selection process, because if you're given a question that talks about the area, then you have to find the area, use the area rule. If you're given the area, you have to use the area rule. So it's a bit more obvious as to when you do that. Okay, the sine and the cosine rule are slightly less obvious things. Okay, so I want to kind of show you a little bit of a flow chart in terms of how you should be thinking about these questions. So you're presented with a triangle, and you might have to find a missing side or an angle. And I want you to be thinking about, how do I know which rule to use and when? Okay, so you're presented with a triangle. You need to look at that triangle and think, what have I been given and what does the question ask me for? Okay. And if you're looking at the question and you're given and being asked for a combination of 3 sides and 1 angle, then that must be the cosine rule. Okay, so any question that's connecting together 3 sides and 1 angle must be the cosine rule. If you're given a question that connects together 2 sides and 2 angles, then that must be the sine rule. Now from there, it depends what the question is actually asking you for. So if the question is connecting together 3 sides, 1 angle, and it's asking you to find a side, so you've got a missing side here, then you know that you need to use the original formula for the cosine rule. If the question is telling you 3 sides, 1 angle is what's connected together, but they want you to find a missing angle, then that's where you need to use the rearranged formula. Like that. And it's a similar kind of process with the sine rule. So once you're given the necessary information and you've identified that it's going to be the sine rule, it's all about what am I being asked for. So if I'm looking to find a missing side, then I need to make sure the side is on the top of my formula. If I'm missing an angle, then I'm going to make sure my angle's on top. Like that, okay? So that should be your decision-making process. 3 sides, 1 angle, cosine, 2 sides, 2 angles, sine, and then decide whether it's going to be missing side, missing angle, which formula you need to use, okay? So, you don't have to copy that down if you don't want to, but you need to have in your head a clear guideline as to when you're going to use what formula. So I want you to pause the video now and make a decision about, what is this question going to be? Is it cosine rule? Is it sine rule? What formula do I need to use? Okay, so have a think. And then I also want you to see if you can work this out. So you may need to look back in your book, look at the notes you've written, that sort of thing. I don't mind that for the first few, but you need to come to a conclusion about what you're going to use and then try and work out the answer to this question. Okay, so pause the video when you're ready to. I'm going to tell you the answer in a few moments. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the video, had a go at this question, you've identified what it is. So with this particular question, you can see that you've got 3 sides there and 1 angle. So 3 sides, 1 angle must be the cosine rule. And now in terms of what I'm looking to find here, I'm looking to find a missing angle, which means I need to use the rearranged version. So cos A equals b² plus c² minus a² over 2bc. So you then need to substitute in and go through that process that we went through in lesson 2, and you end up with an answer of 86.4 degrees. So that should be your answer there to 3 sigma figures. Okay, we'll try another one. So same process, I'd like you to make a decision about what you use, try and solve the question, pause the video while you're doing that, and then I'll give you the solution. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at this question. 2 sides, 2 angles. Okay, they are opposite each other there. So 2 sides, 2 angles means it must be the sine rule. And we're looking to find an angle, which means it must be the rearranged version, the version with the angle on the denominator, on the numerator of the fraction. So sine A over A equals sine B over B. So you would use that formula, and you should get an answer there of 53.4 degrees. Okay, last one is this one. Now this is what I was saying about a slight exception, because you can see from the question here that they're talking about the area already. They're saying about the area is 100 meters squared. So as soon as you see that, you know you're going to use the area rule. So using half AB sine C. And in this scenario, because you're given the area, okay, you would then work backwards, and see if you can work out the value of x there. Okay, so slightly different this time. So have a go at that question. And then hopefully you've been able to have a go at that. The answer to that one should be 45.6 degrees. So this sort of thing is really key. As I said at the beginning, they're not going to tell you in your GCSE which one to use. Okay, you have to look at a question and identify, is it sine rule, is it cosine rule, is it area rule, am I working forwards, backwards, that sort of thing. So have a go at the questions in the booklet. They're all going to be mixed up, so you'll need to make those decisions, and then you may need to recap your work from the previous 6 lessons as well. Okay, any questions, then please email your teachers. Thank you.